TikTok was downloaded 656 million times in 2021, but the question is it on my phone? Over the past year, I've completely redefined my relationship with this device here, my phone. And yes, it is a relationship. I probably spend more time with this device than I do with my friends or family. So yes, it is a relationship, but we've gone through a bit of a change this past year. And so in this video, I want to share with you some of my favorite apps that I've been using throughout 2021 and the ones that I'm going to be using the most this coming year. So as you can see, I am a one home page type of guy. I don't like this whole multiple pages nonsense. I like to have all of my apps accessible on one page. And probably the most controversial thing I have on my homepage, which we'll start off in the top row with, is the fact that I use the Google suite of apps rather than the Apple suite. So I use Google Calendar as my calendar, Photos for all my photos management, not iCloud photos, Google Drive, and then Google Keep. And the reason I decided to make this change was I made it over the last year, and that was genuinely because of content creation. I needed a better way to manage kind of all of the files. And iCloud Drive just isn't very good at file management. And Google Drive is much, much better than that. And so I thought, you know what, I was paying for more storage. Why not just transfer everything over rather than paying for iCloud storage and Google storage as well? And so I moved over to Google Photos. The one thing I would ask Google to change though on the calendar app is just really simple things like change the date on the main app like Apple does with its calendar app, so that you can actually see what the date is just by looking at the icon rather than having to go into the app itself. And the other thing about Google Keep is something that they don't really talk about too much, and that's honestly because they don't really put too much work into it. It's a bit rubbish. It's a note-taking app for those of you guys who don't know. But yeah, it's just not very good. I don't really use it too much, but for the odd quick note that you need to jot down, it's definitely useful for. So Outlook is my mail app of choice. Now, those of you guys who work in any industry will be very familiar with Outlook, be it on a work mobile phone or on your laptop at work. And that is pretty much the only reason why I have Outlook on my phone and not anything like Gmail or any other kind of mail apps. It's just that I'm so familiar with using Outlook from work. The UI, the features and everything, it's just so familiar for me. And so hence Outlook is my mail app of choice. You can also see I'm very limited on the little, I don't know what they're called, but the little red circly thingies. I hate to have a cluttered home screen with 500 notifications, or that just gives me anxiety. So I don't like that. So I try to minimize that wherever I can. And next up was an app that I have used probably more throughout 2021 than I ever had previously, and that is Discord. I was always kind of I wouldn't say a Discord hater, but I was kind of what is Discord? And I think the reason I didn't get that was because I wasn't really paying attention to and being active in any communities in particular. And so I wasn't really getting the value from that community side of Discord, which is the biggest thing. And throughout 2021 and in moving into 2022, I been getting a lot more involved in the kind of crypto NFT space. And Discord has become a really crucial part of that whole community and everything that's going on in that space in terms of all of the Discords that are set up for all the various NFT collections and just people talking about, what's happening in the whole kind of Web3 type space. And it's just become a very kind of a very interesting place to learn information that it's just very difficult to come across on web pages or anything like that. And I do have a Discord myself, the Peanut Club, for those of you that may be interested in joining there. Honestly, they're just a bunch of channels that we talk about some random stuff. There's some football stuff on there, all of that type of stuff. So if that's the kind of stuff that you vibe with, go check out the link below, join the Discord. I'd love to see you guys there. And then next up is social media. The usual suite of apps. I've got to say, the whole Facebook Messenger thing, these are about this close to being deleted, but TikTok is the one that I use the most. It's just the app that has taken up the most amount of screen time, probably an insane amount of screen time. And I could probably face a challenge with all of you guys that I have more screen time on TikTok than you guys. So let me know in the comments down below what your screen time on TikTok was over the last week, over the last month, and maybe let's have a battle and let's see who's the most addicted to TikTok out of all of us. But yeah, Instagram and Twitter are the other two main ones I use in there alongside WhatsApp. And just a note on Twitter, I kind of, I went through a bit of a new year, new phase spring cleaning thing on Twitter where I was kind of following a lot of celebs and fan accounts and stuff like that. And my Twitter feed just became essentially kind of some news platform for everything that's going on with celebs. And I was like, is this really the information that I want to see? So I did a whole cleanse of my kind of Twitter following, and it's kind of become more about now kind of people that inspire me in terms of ideas and things to make content, and just people I find inspirational and motivational as well. And so I've tried to kind of make my Twitter an echo chamber for that rather than just for celebrity gossip. And then next up we have entertainment, lots of entertainment, random stuff. Normally this folder gets a lot more use when I was traveling for work, you know, just watching Netflix or stuff on the go, but I don't really use this folder too much. The only app I've really used in this folder is Twitch, something that I've again got into a lot more towards the tail end of last year. It's something that I enjoy a lot, and I do stream regularly, pretty much every single week. So if you didn't know that, now you know, and there's a link down below to my channel, so go check it out, drop a follow, and I'd love to see you guys in a stream in the future. But yeah, everything else I kind of don't really use because I'm just at home now and not traveling just as much. And then there's the usual YouTube news, rubbish, games, again, not really played. Ono is, for those of you Uno fans out there, Ono is a great free app on iOS for those of you who love to play Uno. So if you love Uno, you can play online, play locally, whatever. It's a great app if you enjoy Uno. And then we next have banking. So this is a kind of an app or group of apps that I want to be spending a bit more time in 2022. And essentially these are the apps that I use to manage my kind of current account, my savings, and my investments. And so these are the apps I use. There are many others that are available, stuff like Vanguard for investment and stuff like that, but these are the apps that I choose. And let me know if you are intrigued about the kind of banking, money management side of things. It's something that I personally am doing a lot more kind of research into and spending a lot more time on myself personally. So if you guys like to see that type of content, let me know as well. And then travel, yeah, I'm just not going to talk about that one. This travel app probably has not been used. Trainline, I can't remember the last time I used that. Waze is probably the only one in the car that really gets used. And then we have the home apps, and this is essentially what I use to manage kind of all of the smart home automation stuff. So we can control the lights, if we go off there, and it's back on over there. So I've invested a lot in the kind of smart home stuff. I find it kind of really interesting, and I just love being able to control everything from my phone and actually being able to control things when I'm away from home, which I find is actually really important. And one of those things that you don't really appreciate how useful that is until you actually are away from home and you're like, oh, I forgot something or whatever. It's very easy to do. And then there's just some other random stuff in Mist. This is just randomness that sometimes maybe is used. I could probably delete some of these, but you know, there's those apps that you just, every now and again, you just kind of, oh, I need to access that app. So they all go in Mist. And then we have the two apps that sit on their own here at the bottom, and that is Notion and Bitwarden. And these are probably my two most used apps on my phone, maybe other than messages, but they sit down there at the bottom for that particular reason, because they are the most used. So Notion is something that I was kind of quite resistant against for a long period of time. It felt like one of those apps that just, it felt too complicated. I felt like I had to invest too much time into learning it for it to actually be valuable. But then I kind of lent into it because a lot of the people around me were using it. And I've got to say, if there's any app that's changed my life, it's Notion. Now, absolutely everything pretty much in my life now is managed through Notion, be it through YouTube, be it through my daily list of tasks that needs to happen, be it through my wedding planning. Everything is being managed through Notion. And so it's just become the absolute hub of my life. And so if you're looking for an app or a way to kind of just organize your life and get down everything you're thinking of, I've got my goals in there for this year as well. It's kind of useful for all of that type of stuff. So Notion, definitely go check it out if you haven't already. And again, it's something that I've grown throughout the end of last year and something that I continue to use this year. So if you want me to do a run through of how I set up my Notion and how I use it, do let me know. And then finally, there's Bitwarden, which is an open source password manager or password locker, which I was introduced to last year. And it's just amazing. It's very simple. It's not like, it hasn't got a fancy UI or anything or loads of fancy features. It's just a really simple password locker. And the good thing I love about it is because it's open source, it's always being updated. It's got some really useful features. It's available across all the platforms. You know, you can access it via Face ID, Touch ID, all of that type of stuff. So it's very, very helpful. And so if you're looking for a password locker, I was looking for one for a very, very long time and just wasn't able to find one that really worked. But Bitwarden for me was the one that really worked best. In the past year, I've made a really conscious decision to change my relationship with my phone and how I use my phone. I was very much just previously focused on using it as a content consumption machine, just watching YouTube, watching Twitch, whatever else. But I've made a decision to use it and see my phone now as a tool to help me create content, be it these YouTube videos, be it the shorts I post on Instagram and TikTok, or just how I plan the content I want to create. And so you would have seen from the apps that I have on my phone that I've tried to make it as much of a content creation machine rather than a content consumption machine. And so if you're a content creator, I'd highly recommend that. And you can you can use your phone for good. It doesn't just have to be for distractions. And that's definitely one of the biggest things I learned about how I use my phone in 2021. But if you're wondering why I'm possibly using a 2-year-old iPhone, not a new one, I'm going to link a video up here about why I decided to not buy the iPhone 13. So if you're wondering why I'm holding a 2-year-old iPhone, check out that video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed a little nosy around what's on my phone. But thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.